HarperCollins presents Don't Ask Me About My Dad, a memoir of love, hate and hope by Tom Mitchelson. Read by Tom Mitchelson. For my mum and my sisters. Author's note. This is not a novel, though it may read like one. It's not a fantasy, though in places it may seem so. It's not an imagined history constructed to illustrate a genuine horror. Nor is it a docudrama which, to tell a story that's basically true, plays around with the truth, reconstructs, invents, fills in the gaps. I am doing none of those things here. I'm reporting. This is my true story, the life I lived as a boy and its effect on my life after that. It is, of course, written from my perspective. I don't always like the person I describe or approve of my decisions and responses, but I've decided to just be honest and let others do the judging. All this happened, every scene, every twist and turn, every shock. All the people in this book are real and, to the best of my knowledge, still alive, save for my dad. The only license I've allowed myself is where I'm reporting speech. I've sometimes put it in quotation marks to bring it to life, though, while I remember very well what people said, I couldn't swear to every word or phrase. Or not always. Very often I could. Some words are not easily forgotten. I have used my mum's diaries from the time in question to fill in gaps in my memory and to jog it on other occasions. There is a place for leaps of the imagination, for what might have been or could have happened, but this is not one of those. This is what happened to me, every word of it. We all have our story to tell. It's just that I didn't know what mine was until recently, and, now that I do, I want to tell it to you. Chapter 1. 2017, Portugal. My dad was dying. Death was in the air and the pallor of his skin. I could feel it in my bones. But I didn't fear it. In fact, I wanted to press fast forward and skip to the last scene. I wasn't going to mourn him. I knew that. I wondered if I'd find myself missing him. I wasn't sure. I suspected I would breathe a sigh of relief. I wanted our 40-year-old relationship to be over. His trolley was pushed up against the wall in the corridor along with 20 or so others. The yellowish light flickered down on the blue linoleum floor, and the smell of disinfectant and takeaway Portuguese pastries pervaded the air. From inside one of the little consulting rooms nearby, two deeply wrinkled women wailed with sadness, and, moments before, as I had passed one of the lined-up trolleys, an elderly man, wild eyes shot through with fear, had reached out from the bed and grabbed the sleeve of my jacket, pleading with me, "Ajuda-me! Ajuda-me! Help me! Help me!" My dad lay feebly on the bed, but some of the colour had returned to his cheeks. I had only been away 15 minutes. I had been trying to find somewhere to leave his bag, but his relief at seeing me was obvious. He'd been put on a drip and told he would be kept in overnight. He just wanted the surgeons to fix him up so he could get back to his flat and drink gin and tonics. "Do you have my keys and wallet? I can't find them," he said. "Yes, they're in your bag in a locker, and the nurse knows which locker it is." "What about my hairbrush?" I surveyed the anarchic scene around us once more as the crying from the old woman reached a crescendo. I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest. He nodded. He was anxious about making his flight back to the UK. He had a hospital appointment in 2 days' time, and now he was asking me to go in search of a doctor to find out if he'd be able to travel. I knew that no one would be able to make him any such promise, but to ease his worries, I agreed. Earlier that day, I had visited him in his tiny, filthy studio apartment in a small Portuguese town called Sesimbra. It was obvious he was seriously ill. He could barely stand up. I called the taxi driver Nuno, the 50-year-old man who looked like a washed-up Julio Iglesias. My dad had been using him as a personal chauffeur to ferry him to and from the shop, and we got him to drive us to the nearest hospital. My dad was compos mentis and chatted happily in the car, making jokes with Nuno, who spoke English with the tortured formality of a mistranslated instruction manual. "St. Bernardo is a proficient medical center, and I believe you will receive care that most people would consider satisfactory," he told us with a less than comforting grin. My dad had managed to keep his hair during the rounds of chemotherapy, and although he had lost weight,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?